In last week's parasha, Yitro, it really, the description of over there is really of how we came to finalize to the final stage maybe of the whole process of coming out of Egypt. They came out of Egypt. It was not just to make us to take us out of the burden of Egypt and to the hard work and the labor and so on and so forth. Was really the goal was not even to make us into a nation. The goal was to receive the Torah. Now, yes, in order to receive the Torah, you need to have A, B, and C in place, but the goal was to receive the Torah. So first of all, to all those things that, that our goal as Jewish people is to become nationalist in association for one country or another, that really is irrelevant because ultimately the goal is for Torah. So you're going to go to the place in which would allow you to learn Torah, to practice Torah. Oh, Tzaddik, you brought me coffee. That's okay, it's okay. That's for me?
Yeah.
All right.
There's a misunderstanding.
No milk?
No milk.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. So Idan just brought me coffee. Thank you, Tzaddik. So you're going to determine the place that you're going to live in based on how much Torah there is in the place and how free you are to practice your life as a Jew. That's very unlike what most people will tell you. But that should be your determination. So, after we received the Torah, what made us into a nation is receiving the Torah as a unit. The Torah is what makes us into Am Israel. Because the Torah folds within itself all the things that we need to be as a nation. So without the Torah, we are not a nation. Without the Torah, we're just, tribes. The Torah was supposed to take us out of this behemoth state that we were at and to really elevate us up, to reduce the materialistic urges and the whole campaign that we're going on, in which we were trapped when we were in Egypt for a few hundred years, and to really teach us the importance of and the value of spirituality and to attach to it. Now, spirituality does not mean doing smudges with the white sage and taking a drum and beating like this and putting beads and all kind of like new age stuff like this. Spirituality means attaching yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to God. That's true spirituality. So your level of spirituality will be determined in your attachment or closeness to Ribono Shel Olam, not to some pagan or shamanistic rituals that you think you'll be doing and that you're spiritual, or listening to this singer or listening to the other singer. That's nonsense. Okay? So the first step in which the Torah teaches the one who actually climbed the steps or climbed the ladder of the Torah itself, believe it or not, is that our leaders and our judges of the people will be people who are not greedy, people who don't like money, because it says, "V'ata techezeh mikol ha'am." Now, "ata techezeh," that's very, very interesting word that we're using. You said, "V'ata techapes," you should look. Lachazot is to contemplate. In other words, you need to really be able to look almost on a prophecy, because sometimes the word Etzion we use to describe a certain level of prophecy. That in prophecy itself, there are different types of levels. There is Etzion, there is Mar'eh, there is Chalom, dream, and so on and so forth. But you're going to contemplate, you're going to contemplate on a whole entire nation. You're going to pick up not the most influential people. You're going to pick up what we call Anshe Chayil. Anshe Chayil, Chayil means a person like Eshet Chayil that we sing, a woman of valor, right? A woman that has some backbone to her, and she's not interested in pearls and jewels. She's interested in doing the right thing in terms of Torah and so on and so forth. So you need to look for people like that. And how it will be son'ei betza. Not they're not going to be greedy. They're going to hate greed. Now, you don't think that it's like people who are going to be socialists / communists, like Funky Bernie, from Vermont or whatever it is, Bernie, right? He's a socialist communist. We're not talking about people like this, because usually the biggest socialist people who like to have equality to all besides themselves, because they like a lot of money. These are not leaders. And so the capitalists, people who don't like money, these are going to be your judges. These are going to be your leaders. And it's so funny to look, because almost every country, the leader is touched with some kind of corruption, or inflicted with some kind of a corruption with money and funds and so on and so forth. So to tell you the state that we are at now, pause. Way back when in Europe, before World War II, life was completely different than what we had today, and what people did was completely different. There were certain rabbis and scholars that would wander from one town to another and tell people, stories and so on and so forth. And that was the parnasa. That was how they made your life with. They'll come to a shul, they'll give a drasha, they'll give a sermon, they will inspire the people will give him donation, or they will stay in the place for a week or so, they give him donation, and they will go from one place to another. Some will be, most of it will be in like, folklore stories with meaning, and so on and so forth. Those people will call magid. Magid, mishum lehagid, to speak. So these are speakers. So those traveling Wilburys, right, the rabbis will go from one place, they were known as a magid. And really, they would give many times like rebuking to the people, strengthening them up, inspiring them, and so on and so forth. So one of the cities came this Rav, this Magid, and he gives a big speech, a big sermon in front of a huge crowd. And when later on he checked the box in which people were supposed to put the money, he found just a few pennies there. So he was, he was a little upset, or that he didn't get so much. Well, he says, probably the people don't have enough money, or they simply are not generous people. So what did he do? He went to the local rabbi. To his great surprise, as he's coming to the rabbis, he sees a great line of people. The people lined up there. And everybody that comes to the rabbi brings a pidyon. Pidyon means they give a donation to the rabbi. In other words, and that pidyon, that donation was like with a lot of money. I mean, there's a lot of money they were putting on the table. There was a pile of money on the rabbi's table. So he goes to the rabbi, he says, listen, I don't understand this. How is it possible that the same crowd that I gave the sermon, that I gave the drasha, did not give me anything, needless to say, generously, but hardly gave me anything from its money? And how are you, my dear rabbi, that you didn't even say one word? How is it that the same crowd gives you so much money? How is it possible? So the rabbi left. He was laughing. He says, it's very simple. I hate money. And when I influence the people, they also become people who hate money. And since they hate money, they are very quick in getting rid of the money. They don't want the money, they hate it. However, you love money. You love money so much that it's embedded in you. And it therefore influences the people in which you speak to, and you're a great speaker. And as a result of that, what happens? They started to love money as well. And if they love money as well as was influenced by your sermon, why should they take the money out of the pocket and give it to you? Because they love it. Now, which is a tremendous thing. If you go to a shul, you see the people don't give, ... fill the gaps yourself, if they say. Now, after you free yourself from the oppression or the slavery to materialism only then you can come and accept the Torah. Chazal made a special bracha for us in the morning, and it says, Baruch ata Hashem, asher tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, and then what do we say? Ve'ha'arevna et divrei Talmud Toratecha, lanu, zarenu, zera zarenu, and so on and so forth. Ha'arevna, in other words, means to be flavorful, to be tasty. So we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please help us and make the words of Torah which we're going to hear pleasant to our ears and to our heart. And after that, only after that, we say, Baruch ata Hashem asher bachar banu l'chol amim v'natan lanu torato. In other words, Baruch ata Hashem noten Torah, that's what we say. Right? So isn't it appropriately to say first, give us the Torah, Baruch ata Hashem noten Torah, and then ha'arevna? That's the question. You should give me the Torah first, and then make it tasty for me. When you come and eat, you come in to eat a cake or something, you don't say, give me the cake and then make it tasty, make sure it's tasty. Right? You taste this and they say, oh, good. So why here is the order is reversed? So for that, the special mashal that the famous mashal that the Magid Miduvna says, is a story about the prince, about the princess, or the daughter of the king that needed to get married. So the king calls upon everybody from every town. Every bachur that comes, he finds some fault in him. So his vizier, since it was a Turkish guy, so he's a vizier, he comes to him and says, listen, there is a guy. He comes from a very regular family, even poor family, without any great lineage and so on and so on. But this bachur, this guy, the best of all the best. So the king comes and says, okay, bring him to me. The bachur sits in the yeshiva and he's learning and he's learning and he's learning. All of a sudden he gets a call, come to the king, that they take him out. They're putting clothes on him. The guy is said, oh my goodness, what does the king want from me? What have I done? What have I done? He stands in front of the king interrogates him and asks him a question, and he really sees, lo and behold, this kid is a gem, is a diamond in the rough. Flawless. Pillar of the community. So he says, okay, Vazir, please take care of him. The guy says, what, take care? So you're going to marry my daughter. What? Marry my daughter? Oh my God. Me? Yeah, you're going to marry the king's daughter. He's petrified. He says, Ribono shel olam, why would the king take me? I don't have any lineage. My father works in the sanitation department. My mother is, I don't know what, visiting nurse. Why me? There are kings and princes and lords and counts, and me. So, oh, for sure this girl something is wrong with her. For sure. Probably ugly as ugly can get. Comes the night of the day of the wedding, he sees the princess. Oh my goodness, she is like, how do you call it? Drop dead gorgeous. She is like, wow, a real hottie. Oh my goodness, this is not so ugly. So, probably something is wrong with her. Probably, we'll see tonight. Something is off. I mean, after all, comes the first night and she's normal. Talks to her, she's polite, So I said, maybe it's this thing, like once every full moon, she starts howling as a wolf over there. I'll wait around. Comes the first month and goes, and all of a sudden the new moon comes and the full moon comes, and she just gets better with time. A year, passes by, and he comes to the king. He says, my dear father-in-law, I have something to ask you. He says, yes, my son, is everything okay? He says, yes, everything is okay, but I have a small request. He says, okay, what's the request? He says, I want to make another wedding. I want to marry your daughter again. So the king says to him, we already had a wedding. He says, no, until now I was afraid. I was afraid that something is wrong with her, but now I see what a tremendous Eshet Chayil she is. What a tremendous Eshet Chayil this girl is. Not only she's beautiful, she's also tremendous, she's modest, she's Ba'alat Chesed, she does all those things. I could not, even if I wanted to, ask for anything better than that. Regardless of the fact she is your daughter and I want to marry her again. The same thing to us. When we receive the Torah, we don't know what it is. So before, and now all of a sudden we know what it is. So we get to receive the Torah with lightnings and thunders and Shavuot. And comes Simchat Torah, now we really, instead of dancing in Shavuot, we're dancing in Simchat Torah. And this is why, because we tasted the taste of the Torah in our mouth. So before a person tastes or learns the Torah, he doesn't know what he has to, going back to our question, he doesn't know what he has to be thankful for. He doesn't know. It seems to him like a bunch of laws and rigid and so on and so forth. He doesn't know what to thank for. But after he fulfills the part of the bracha that says la'asok b'divrei Torah. La'asok is to, not just to learn. La'asok means to toil. La'asok means that everything that you do in life becomes a Torah. All done from the Torah perspective. You are dealing with it. That's your business. Esek is business. My business is Torah. After you're doing la'asok b'divrei Torah, then we says ve'ha'arevna. We see how much the Torah is able to lift you up and how sweet the Torah words are. You can't appreciate the Torah if you don't learn it. Now that you tasted how sweet the Torah is, and you understood that, then you could really thank Hashem. Hashem bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Now you can accept upon yourself the whole full duty of learning Torah. So what's the rule here? What's the issue here? The issue is like this. If you are telling me that you are learning Torah and it's boring to you, I'm going to tell you'll never learn Torah. It is impossible. It's well known what Rabbeinu Chaim Vital says in the introduction to the books of the Ari, the writings of the Ari. He says a person should really learn Kabbalah. He said, how? First of all, he's going to learn 3 or 4 years and so on and so forth. And if he didn't see any siman bracha in learning Gemara and so on and so forth, leave everything and learn Kabbalah. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's very funny. Why? Because the Mahacho knew what he was doing. He didn't say leave everything and learn Kabbalah. He says try 3 or 4 years if you don't see any siman bracha, if you don't see any sign of blessing in your learning. It is impossible. If you learned, and you really learned for 3 or 4 years, it is impossible for you not to see a sign of blessing in your learning. So the Maharchu was using that as a carrot. Yes, you can learn Kabbalah, but first try this for 3 or 4 years. Because it is just impossible not to see Siman Bracha. The Torah, and why is that? Because the Torah itself is the Bracha. So if you don't want to learn Torah, you're not going to have Bracha. It's not going to have a blessing. You're going to have some sugar coating, but not a blessing. The Torah is the Bracha. More than that, if you learn Torah, it is impossible for you not to do so. But you need to open up, you need to toil, you need to be la'asok. If this was your business, and you want to be a successful businessman, what you will have to do, you will have to really put an effort into your business. If you open a store or whatever business it is, for a few years, 3 or 4 years, you're going to work very hard, even if you're not going to see immediate profit in your efforts. But you're going to work really, really hard. So you must work not only 3 or 4 years after you finish high school and after you finish 3 or 4 years, only that, as if it was your business. In other words, if you opening a store, don't tell me that you're going to work half a day and half a day go do something else. You need to dedicate minimum of 3 to 4 years only Torah, morning until night, only Torah. After that, you're going to feel the real taste of Torah in your mouth. They will be flavorful. When you do that you'll be Mekayem the Pasuk. Let me hang up the phone. You'll be Mekayem the Pasuk of V'yi zarenu v'zera zarenu, that our seed and our children and our great-great-children will always lomdei Toratcha v'yodei Toratcha lishma. Not only they're going to learn Torah, they're going to learn Torah lishma. So Rabotai, think about this. And I should all hope that today we're going to start our learning. And by the way, this shiur is dedicated to the Hatzlacha and to the merit of Rachel who? Rachel Chaya Bat Sarah, and everybody else that needs refuah shlema, among them Reuven Leib Ben Chana, and everybody else. And we should be very fruitful and sweet divrei Torah to all of us today.
Amen.